than Italy as well, just because of the sustain that a mid lane Italy could have. They have 10 more seconds to potentially swap this, but yeah, I think you're right here. Once we had 20 seconds, they are not allowed to swap again.
Yeah, so 3 melee champions, 3.5 if you count Italy half the time, with a Saber to make him go in. They've got so much hard engage and a lot of damage. Bjergsen not allowed to bring cleanse, not allowed to bring heal, not allowed to bring barrier.
Cuts into smite, unless he wanted to forego his flash.
Yeah, I mean, that would not be the worst thing in the world. Heckrim's did it for a while.
On Ezreal.
Yeah. We'll see if that happens, though. This one's going to be quite the battle. A fight for first place. Team Solo Mid versus Gravity. The crowd's amped for this one. I'm hyped for this one as well. And while the champs load into the game, share your picks online. Send hashtag TSM winner, hashtag GV win to @LolEsports on Twitter. Let us know. This one is gonna be hype. Mid lane Ezreal once again for your Bjergsen. He crushed it yesterday.
Oh, did he ever?
He might crush it again, but came to the second mid lane Jarvan game as the counter pick to mid lane Smite Ezreal.
That's the hope for Gravity. Keen always wanted to have that counter. Giant champion pool. The actual lockdown they have is existent within Maokai and Shen. So otherwise, Bjergsen can arcade shift or flash out of a lot of this stuff. It's going to be a very skill-intensive game unless Hanser can get some really good flanks onto Bjergsen. This should be a very exciting matchup. 9-2 TSM, 8-3 Gravity. As you said, a battle for first place. If TSM wins, they're alone in first. If Gravity wins, it becomes a tie for first.
Gotta see how this all shapes up. Invade right away for Gravity. That will allow the rest of TSM to run around and get some deep wards of their own. So this will be a rough trading of wards with the added benefit that TSM can see where Gravity's running to. A really interesting sort of safe ward pattern here, as most of Gravity tends to ward over the walls. More saplings, Star's going to lose his recall. Not that it matters.
And this will be very fun to watch. Keen's mid lane Jarvan once again. He has broken out in the LCS before, as we've said, but it's also his most played champion on a solo queue account with 39 games. So he's a little bit like Core JJ in the fact that he likes laning Jarvan. They just have different positions in which they lane him.
You can see in the one game, Bjergsen only got 3 deaths and played pretty darn well for himself. Solo Mid will be starting out in the bottom jungle with Gravity able to steal away most of the top side. It will probably be a symmetrical jungle start anyway, though. 2 buffs should happen on both sides. Santorin and Dyrus preparing up together. Wildturn and Lustboy back together in the bottom lane. Should be just fine to do Krugs. And I'll take a buddy people lane swap into the top side.
Yeah, double jungle, normal lane swap. I think this favors the Shen lane, honestly. While Shen can be an okay laner, not a traditional support, and I think it's beneficial for him to be able to roam and get basically a free lane. Corki and Annie, very high kill pressure and damage poke, whereas melee support Shen just does not offer those things. So it's beneficial that Gravity can actually get this lane swap somewhat uncontested.
And as time moves on, my experience of Annie lanes is once there is a burst threat, Annie can't play as aggressively anymore, so maybe at BF Sword, Altek and Bunny can feel happy to 2-on-2, but yeah, for now they hide the matchup. Another fast push in. We're seeing the lane swap game played differently. It's basically push 2 waves in, jungler shows up, or sorry, top laner shows up, and you can see all of these teams. CLG did it, TSM did it, Gravity did it. These guys have all seemingly played each other and all got the same idea about how you're supposed to play lane swaps now. A very different result from what we were seeing just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it always bounces back and forth. I think there's several viable ways to play lane swap, but it just so happens that we've seen this exact formula play out twice in a row now. Same sides of the map and everything.
Dyrus got a lot of the CS right there, actually, so a bit of money lost potentially by Wild Turtle, but gained by Dyrus. Corki has much less stringent item requirements on his recalls, so it won't be as big of a negative, but Altek...
So here's an interesting thing. They decide to give the turret gold to Hanser, and not Altek, and TSM decides to share it. Oftentimes you will see the AD carry alone being able to get that gold, and then they hang around for the frozen lane, but in this matchup it is actually the top laners hanging around in the frozen bounced wave, and allowing the AD carries to swap back.
Yeah.
Another tweak here, showing kind of the top lane priority that Gravity has been putting on Haunter to let him farm and succeed. Highest kills for a top laner in the LCS, and as we said, most damage. So moves like this is what allows him to be a successful top laner.
And the thing is, that was the exact same situation that the CLG Impulse game went for as well, where the top laner is part of the push, and they let that guy keep the freeze. And, yeah, just a lot of these teams making the same evolutions every week. It's very fun to see.
Haunter shoved in instead of sitting on a bounce, and he's going to let Dyrus get that free wave. So basically, Gravity is going to make a play.
Yeah.
Because they know they're trying to isolate this lane in the top side for Dyrus.
All right, well, Dyrus going to be alone to farm the top lane, happy and safe. Of course, no ult for a long time, only level 2 on Gnar, but with TP, shouldn't be too hard. Bot lane being pushed in very heavily. Wild Turn Lustboy, I guess, could be dived into the turret. Moves coming down. And actually, did Jarvan make his way down as well? No, he's in base, so Keen won't be part of this.
Yeah, it's a nice defense for Santorin right now. Recognizing that if the Maokai stays top, that the AD carry and support are coming bottom, and if they want to be able to shove in the wave, they're probably going to have jungle support. It's a series of events and guesses that basically Santorin has made just right, and TSM is on top of this lane swap game, as well as Gravity. And what more could we expect from a first-place team versus a second-place team?
Very smart plays right now. So, components of a Hex Drinker, the first sets of items for Keen. Wild Turn and Lustboy safe and happy under this turret right here. You're going to see the CS basically equalized, and that push means nothing. Dyrus, though, still getting farmed. He actually pushed top lane back out, interestingly enough. He could have built that as a freeze, I believe, but he's going to allow Haunter to get some experience in gold here. That might have been a crisis averted. I don't know if the minions were in the right spot, but I'm pretty sure Dyrus broke the freeze on purpose.
You never know. They also will want to have teleport support, but it's a bit of a dangerous game for Dyrus to push up that wave without a turret backing him up. But once again, if they recognize that Italy was bottom lane, this gives Dyrus a window to roam and try and pull something else off. Always trying to find a play, basically. And also get some nice crab control and wards in the river for his trouble.
Well, Santorin, of course, this is a dead turret, so he's got all the room in the world to make this chase happen. Move leaves through scuttle control.
What a sneaky move.
TSM knows 3v2. Gravity's got to be real careful here.
That was they just pinged him out. I feel like Altec will just die here. I'm curious about that ping, though.
Lustboy lands the flash, lands the stun. Altec spell shields something, but it's not nearly enough. First blood to Lustboy. Great setup by TSM.
I thought I saw a ping on the minimap that was Gravity's like, hey, maybe someone is here, but if they thought that, then they would have ran away immediately. Santorin must have snuck in completely undetected. That was a brilliant gank pathing in order to do that, and he really punishes Gravity for sitting in that lane without a turret.
Well, Monster trying to punish Dyrus, but a really big missed wallop means no damage, but trade still won by the Maokai here. See, the last matchup was certainly a very close battle, but TSM did squeak that one out. But move, leading up to his name, heading up to the top lane, flash, the late bounce, very smart mechanical play by Move, saving the bounce for the flash to land the chase.
Nice mechanics through and through right there. Haunter had already gotten him low, flashing to get the eat, making sure he had a pounce for if Dyrus flashed away, getting the kill and the summoner move by preempting it with his own flash. And this continues to allow Gravity control in this side of the map, going gank for gank with Santorin in the lane without a turret. Again, these teams effectively mirroring each other's moves.
So Move and Haunter, they built a 12 CS lead for the top lane. They're going to get a blue buff steal as well, and Bjergsen just farming. Slightly behind, but not too bad. Hoping to hold on against this Keen mid-Jarvan counter pick. Flask and Hex Drinker the items.
I mean, Keen picked it as a counter to Ezreal, we think. We don't even know if it's effective as a counter pick yet because we just haven't seen enough Runeglaive Ezreal at a high level. For now, though, I feel like they're both doing just fine to farm it out. Bjergsen is just waiting to scale up for his Runeglaive and the additional items and trying to avoid the assassination of Keen. But at the same time, right, if Keen gets enough damage, he might have the chance to one-shot Bjergsen. That lane is yet to be told, and I think we'll see the impacts of it in team fights.
And Bjergsen is basically this wave away from Runeglaive being purchased, and the power started. You need to monitor the growth here as, good left hitting in a turret. Now Move and Keen, though, already with the wave pressure they've got, using that to push down to the bot lane. Whether their dual lane died earlier or not, doesn't matter. Move a clean and quick kill on this Dragon. A bit of help from Keen, not a problem here. Dragon 1 over to Gravity. Gold's still the exact same as kills and turrets are identical. And once again, Dyrus is caught back up with Hanser.
Yeah, quite competitive farm between the roles. Wild Turtle down on CS to Altec, but hard to exactly judge that because of all the lane swapping that's been going on. Double the blue buffs here for Gravity.
Yeah, they got both. That will hold Bjergsen down. He did, by the way, go for the Rangers Trailblazer smite, so he will have sustained by spamming smite on the Wolves and Raptors, Bjergsen will. But with blue buffs gone, that's really the only way he gets mana back. Still has not finished Runeglaive, so that restore's not there either.
Yeah, again, you can see a little bit of fear from the Gravity bottom lane, thinking there could be someone behind them. That's always the danger of 2v2ing in that empty lane. This time, they check their suspicions in the bottom lane. No Santorin to be found.
But maybe look for a dive. Bjergsen got a defensive trinket down over the wall. Good insight there, but the Javelin's going to hit.
Whoa.
The Santorin already here to counter get. Second time he's been in the right place at the right time, maybe even the third, to make sure that nothing fishy happens. Hexdrinker done on Dyrus as he wants to continue to survive and thrive in his matchup against Hanser. They're just trading farm. The game again equal. He didn't take too much damage. He's got MR.
Yep. I'm sure he's got plenty of MR in this matchup. Even with the Hexdrinker, this early in the game, he's sitting at 83 magic resistance. So Keen heavily speccing magic resistance runes.
Here's the skillfully last hits a wave. He's going to recall for Runeglaive and a little bit more. Sitting on a lot of gold. Adds boots and an amp tone. All right, so power spike number 1 here for Ezreal. The wave clear is in. The CDR is there. Hanser's still just clearing over and over and over again, but nothing really for Gravity to fight for. These guys are not going for heavy ganks. Nidalee, a more farm-focused jungler, trying to get what gold he can. Of course, Move got a kill, and with that, he sits about 500 gold ahead of Santorin.
Sightstone acquired.
Gravity have 700 gold as a unit, although that's partially getting their waves pushed in first. Yep. Again, Sightstone Nidalee, the only player to do so. Move 12 Sightstones in 12 games. Very, very vision-focused. Likely still to be the ward-killing leader in the NALCS as well.
He definitely is. I was checking that last night. Second in command is actually Santorin. They're by far and away the best 2 ward-killing junglers in all of the LCS. Move was at about 212 in 11 games wards killed. Santorin was around 190. These aren't exact numbers. Next closest was about 150. So like these two killed way more wards than anyone else.
Significantly ahead. Good spell shield by Altec. That's actually one of the better things about Sivir here in this game overall is not only does she help your team engage with the ulti and the move speed you grant your teammates, but also True Shot Barrage is very telegraphed and very easy to spell shield. So Altec does not get chunked out of these sieges. Cooldown's low enough to not have to worry about True Shot Barrage cooldown either.
Plus, with the AP Nidalee jungle, getting hit by 1 True Shot Barrage isn't the end of the world because they actually have sustain options to heal people back up this time. So maybe we'll see if AP Ezreal is mortal this game against Bjergsen. He will be at risk to all of these poke options, and there's better engage opportunities by this Gravity team than there were by TDK yesterday when TSM played against him, and Bjergsen could just take over that game.
About the other Ezreal
and
game.
both by CLG, right? The games where we've seen AP Ezreal be most successful are games against teams that do not have sustain and have poor engage tools. Gravity has both sustain and engage tools, so if something was to counter the AP Ezreal, it would be similar to this.
Yeah, absolutely right. And of course, we've seen Ezreal 2-1 so far in the North American LCS, if my numbers are correct. And getting into the back line or getting an early game lead has been one of the reasons it's worked. Keen now on split push duty. They've already sent Sivir mid. She already knocked down the mid turret though, so the constant pressure Keen was placing got mid low enough for Altec to turn that one in, get the kill credit for himself. Top lane's already dead. Keen's making some effort towards the bot lane here, but sieging is working for Gravity. As much as we talk about AP Ezreal being a little bit stronger earlier than he was before because of the Runeglaive holding that kit together, he was still getting pushed in. The waves are still getting pressured. The turrets are still falling a little bit. Gravity using that slight edge still very effectively. You can see their game plan is working.
Yeah. It's about farming up a little bit as well. Righteous Glory completed by Haunser. Initiation acquired.
Trinity Force done for Wild Turtle, though, is a very important power spike, though, for TSM.
Absolutely. It's going to be before Altec gets to his Infinity Edge because he's gone the sustain route with the Vamp Scepter. Pretty much everyone on this Gravity team is trying to find their own option to if they get hit by poke in the late game, right? Early Vamp Scepter, Lifesteal will be on Sivir, heals from Nidalee. Haunser is going to be Maokai, very hard to get damaged by the poke anyway. It's really just Bunny Fufu who won't have a direct option, but he can always go back to base and heal and still be there for a team fight because of Stand United.
Absolutely. So, maybe the options are good for Gravity here to deal with this very scary Bjergsen Ezreal, who's farmed nicely, 150 minions in a 14-minute game. Definitely a strong margin there. Keen, the highest farm of the game, though, still having a great job on this Jarvan. He is yet to ult anyone. Ooh! Close one there. Move gets it by pouncing a second late.
Nice try by Bjergsen. Had the timing down. It was just something the move was able to acquire.
And Bjergsen is yet to get a blue buff this game. Even though Santorin secured the attempted steal, it still didn't go to Bjerg. So losing that little bit of regen may hurt him slightly. Again, can regen off jungle camps, but in lane it's just worse. You can see Bjergsen sitting at 1/3 mana, not ideal. In an extended team fight, there are no regen tools for Bjergsen, unlike the old tier Ezreal builds where you had a giant well of mana to pull from, and even some bonus regen from the Archangel Staff. That is not the case for this build, and an extended poke war in the river will not go well for Bjergsen.
Gravity has played a very clean early mid game, matching TSM's lane swaps quite well. Securing the blue buffs is probably the most critical advantage, and being able to take down the turret and also get a free dragon based on the early power trough for the mid lane Ezreal. So things are going quite well for Gravity, all things considered.
Absolutely. We're sitting on a 1,300 gold lead now. The mid lane turret had gone down since we last checked the gold score, but it's actually growing since then from minion farm. Nidalee still doing very well, now sitting 900 gold ahead of Santorin. So Move is, for all his emphasis on getting vision up and keeping his team safe, he's crushing Santorin in gold. Keen 180 CS now, doing wonderfully. And he's going to get bottom turret. You can see Wild Turtle has to respect him so much.
Yeah, and because of that, they're getting another dragon. They are really just critically beating TSM in lanes right now. The Jarvan is going to push in Ezreal early, but he's also going to have kill threat when he leaves lane, which is very critical. When Pobelter played against us as a Lulu, even though he could shove him in, the Lulu doesn't have kill threat when he goes elsewhere. The things that we've seen defeat AP Ezreal, the Ahri and the Jarvan, have kill and assassin threat after they shove someone in, which can translate into the other lanes. The rest of Gravity also has good follow-up. They have power farmers in the jungle to take advantage of roaming and create opportunities for farm advantages. Of course, TSM is also playing pretty safe, so they're giving these things instead of letting themselves get snowballed out, keeping their chances in this game as long as Bjergsen can scale up.
And TSM have built their comp around being a little bit disengage heavy, right? The Gragas in the jungle, one of the better disengaged junglers. The Gnar as well can frontline and Gnar people away from the team. Even if we do get into team fights, maybe TSM can outplay them after all, even with Gravity's engage tools. There's always the chance here. TSM saying, you know, we can wait till late game, we can farm up the Ezreal, don't worry about the early advantages. We've seen games like that, where the team is happy to give away a couple of turrets.
Oh boy, there's no turret in the top lane, and there's many more people for Gravity right here. Teleport could come in from Darius, but he's going to star.
Wild Turtle gets hit up on a lot of counter engage. Keen tries to get the kill, but tries to get away. Wild Turtle, Ignite is onto the fight, continues a big Mega Gnar. Bjergsen gets the first kill in a move, and the battle continues. Darius on the run, flash the way, he is safe. A 1-for-0 that Gravity ends up losing.
Somehow, someway, Wild Turtle gets away. He put on his turtle shell, and he tanked all that damage from Keen. Wow, so because Darius could come in and Mega Gnar, the first aggressive move that Gravity tries to play gets countered by TSM.
And good by TSM to turn that around right as Mega Gnar came through. We can see the burst just not quite enough.
Yeah. I liked how Keen started with the ultimate because he was trying to follow once Turtle went away, but they stun Keen down. He Valk flashes, Keen can't follow, and even with the Nidalee Spear, they weren't able to secure that. Then the collapse did come in from the rest of TSM. Yeah, quite well played by TSM right there to protect Wild Turtle and also punish Keen for going so aggressive so early.
Yeah, I forget if you mentioned it, but Keen saved his EQ. I think EQ maybe to get in range, but he didn't use it on Ezreal or on Corki till after he jumped away from the Cataclysm.
What's interesting is if Keen would have just jumped and like Q hit him, then when the Nidalee Spear lands, he would have been dead immediately. Would have been 100 to 0.
Yeah.
But the little micro interactions are the things that change the face of the game sometimes.
And you can see Bjergsen aware of some of these interactions. He is rushing for a Zhonya's second item to deal with how scary this Jarvan can be. He's aware this blue buff's getting stolen. Ezreal comes in early, but Wild Tunnel! Oh!
Another blue buff secured by Gravity.
And still none for Bjergsen despite his attempts to ult them away. Smite at 50 health, move gets it. Gravity still set an 1,800 gold lead. They lost the kill, but their waves were so well pressured that there was nothing for TSM to grab off that fight victory.
Yeah.
Gravity continued to hold map control. They've actually got quite good deep wards too.
Gravity alters their builds more for specific matchups than any other team in North America. And I like it right here. So Altec has gone Bloodthirster first against the poke team, so he can lifesteal better and avoid the poke. Keen, instead of going for the full burst Jarvan that we've seen others do, is going heavily Magic Resist as well as the Spectre's Cowl for the regen. Wouldn't be that surprised to see him go Ravenous Hydra fairly early as well. Just everyone itemizing to try and negate this Ezreal. The whole team is building around it.
Yeah.
And it's also the Corki missiles, right? The poke in general coming through from TSM.
Move smites it away. Wolves are his, and mid lane getting pressured. You can see, again, with the spell shield, gets some mana back, and Altec's going to knock down the 4th turret of the game. Gravity constantly using the Sivir as a battering ram. Hanser finding Wild Turtle. Bunny Fufu in range, and of course flashes down. Oh, the top flash from Bunny's going to pull in Wild Turtle for another second or two. Nice dodge to the Q. Lost Boy's around, but Turtle's going to take too much damage from this, I imagine. One more hit the top. Bunny Fufu secures the kill. His first of the game. Gravity tie up the score and move.
Lust Boy exposed himself. Can he get the spear? Does he even need it? He gets both. Probably didn't.
Bam! The Chaos Dunk from Keen.
Did not need the Chaos Dunk.
I mean,
right there.
You guys need the Chaos Dunk, chat.
Secured. Absolutely secured, but now they don't have that critical ultimate if they want to do a turret dive. Maybe it doesn't matter. Gravity is putting the pressure on TSM right now.
This could be turret number 5. Gravity refusing to let go. They're just drawn to TSM's base like some kind of force of nature or something. And Gravity looking so good. 5,000 gold up. 5 turrets to 1. Immaculate Dragons as well. The map is being played ridiculously for the fact that TSM have so much wave control and so much disengage. Gravity's still finding the ways in.
And the anti-poke in every position. Hydra completed by Keen. So early lifesteal across the board. Really love the way Gravity is building their champions. They're playing League of Legends the way it was meant to be played. Build to counter your opponent, draft your team composition to counter what the other team is going to do. And they flex pick everything, so you never know what they're going to bring your way.
God, I really like Gravity.
It's really cool to watch this split. They've really transformed as a team since they've joined the LCS.
Yeah. I mean, this has been my favorite NLCS split by a lot. Not only because there's so many good teams like Battle, you don't know who's going to win the split, you don't know who's going to win the games, but the quality of the teams I think improves so much. Again, you were talking about Gravity. I agree on that kind of stuff. They're playing really, really fun games.
Yeah.
TDK with like the attempted surge late in.
Every team
is always fun to watch.
Trying to do their best to improve as well.
Yeah.
Tricky little world to play in, but this game, you can see Bjergsen has to go for an early Void Staff to try and cut through all the magic resist right here.
Yeah, he stopped at Arm Guard actually.
Already being built. They're falling well behind the curve, and it looks like Gravity's forcing here, and they're not necessarily at danger to being poked out.
And Hanser has already recalled he should be able to buy Home Guards to look for the flank. Home Guard's bot, he's staying in base. There are actually a good number of wards. TSM could not hope to sweep all of them away. So many possible flank wards. TSM could get mauled by Maokai, but he will choose to walk back to top lane to hold his turret. TSM doing a good job of buying time. There's a Nidalee on one side, but an Ezreal on the other. There's certainly poke on both sides of the map here. Santorin goes for the retreat. And you can see I really like also that Gravity are not over-purchasing Righteous Glories. The first item for Bunny Fufu is in fact an Aegis. Move actually went for Abyssal Scepter. I don't know if you mentioned that one, but a really bursty build, more MR. There's the TV for both sides, 2,000 health on Dragon. Keep in mind, 2 smites for TSM makes Dragon hard to kill. And it heals all the way back up.
The flank is huge from Gravity right now. They have to be careful they don't get pinched by 5 people from TSM, but look how far behind Keen is. They see him in the ward. TSM's got to be careful.
Well, Meganar got burned 15 seconds, so that time's out. That is a window that Gravity must play around. Dyrus, I believe, is visible by some vision. Now in the minion wave, they know. Meganar running out right now. Gravity can re-engage this, and it's likely to work successfully.
TSM is trying to create an opportunity here. They know how far behind the Jarvan is, so they're pushing mid lane as well.
Here comes the flank, here comes the engage. Who are they going to find? Haunter in the front lines, but the Silver ulti mostly timed out. The anti-stun's going to stop it. But Gravity have the inside track on mid. Maybe they push down. Maybe they're able to poke away. Mid lane should get cleared easily by Alltech.
And Tibbers is gone now.
A good spell shield.
Spell shield move can heal that up. He's a little bit low on mana, but
down too.
Effectively untouched. They burn teleport and home guard, but this may enable them to get the dragon. This will be
Righteous Glory down.
Oh boy.
On the hunt down. Bjergsen ulti down. Haunter in the front line. Alltech kind of helping him. It's a little bit of a tanky saver. They go for the hard dive. They find Lustboy. A lot of damage done. And Haunter's gonna get the kill. No, he won't! The sapling! Oh, Bjergsen, interception! No touchdown for the sapling. And it's gonna be Dragon number 3 going to Gravity.
Yeah, unfortunately, they still lose the dragon. The least joyful interception ever. Still lose overall. Yeah, 5,000 gold lead and 3 dragons for Gravity. It's mainly just been the pressure advantage that they've been able to accumulate this whole game. Team transformed for Gravity right here. They were so close to beating Team Solo Mid the first time around, but they had some questionable shot calling down the stretch. TSM, with their veteran status, was able to pull out more heady shot calls down the stretch.
Keen's at 189 magic resist, or 169, but 189 when he's near the Aegis of Shen. This is one of the games where I actually want to see build adaptation from TSM, where Altoda went Sork Shoes Corki. This is a game where you go Zergreaves Ayad second. You forget the fact that you're Corki and you play as an auto attacker because there is so much MR and so little armor. Change your perception of the champion, play it differently. This would be one of those games where it would be huge from to have some auto attacks.
You need the auto attack damage against these guys for sure, but at the same time, Hans is going to be building a Frozen Heart since he is immune to the magic resist.
Yep. All right, attempted siege here for TSM. Trinity Force means a lot of damage, and Dyrus is tanking the turret. Gravity are not here. The hard engage. Ooh, they nearly catch move.
Yeah, but
Lustboy did not go for the stun.
Could still be real. They have Budding Fufu. If any of the tanks could get a flank in,
it would be a 4v5 with move out of the fight. He looks for it. Doesn't tag the Nidalee. He was able to retreat away and hide in the Raptor brush. He will recall again. Wild Turtle, though, out of mana right now. Is going for Ruin King, so that will be the best, or at least second best auto attack damage item you can go for on Corki.
Absolutely.
Still holding out for Infinity Edge third. Some people do it. It would let him break down the fairly health-heavy front line. But I think he needs one more item to be a real teamfight threat. We'll see if that time comes in. It's 3,500 gold away. Team Solo Mid still holding on to what they can. They are down
6,000 gold advantage. Like, this is a huge lead for Gravity. TSM is really far behind. You see it in the items and the power spikes right here. I mean, on almost every major build, they are behind.
What's that done for Bjergsen? And actually, as the ability card continues to scale up, it gets harder for Gravity to push in. You're seeing double item Corki, 2 item Ezreal. It's going to be harder and harder for Gravity to get the same advantages they were getting earlier. Their gold lead is from getting dragons.
It means that they can go straight for Baron here. If they can clean out the vision, they can also bait the Baron, because all they want to do is pop a Righteous Glory and go for it. Now, if the Scrying Orb is down, that gives them the knowledge that the warding is dead, and they might just go.
Find Bjergsen.
Oh, they get him post-flash.
They get him.
Dead.
In goes the Chaos Dunk for kill number 2 on Keen. Explosive Cask used to disengage a little bit, but it's not enough. Lustboy goes down. A 2 kill for nothing for Gravity in the go towards Baron.
Just a smart, nice bait. Gravity playing this game so cleanly. This could be such an amazing week for Gravity. They get a 27-minute win over CLG, and then if they can also cleanly beat TSM, beating TSM and CLG in the same week, back-to-back in convincing fashion, would be a statement for them to be a top team in North America.
In 2014, Gravity was a challenger team that didn't even win in the promotion tournament. They got into the LCS because we went to 10 teams, and they're now poised to be number 1 at the end of week 6.
Yeah, this game, now 8,000 gold ahead, Baron in control, 4 turret advantage, 3 dragons to 0. Let's take a look at this one again. I mean, Bjergsen getting a little bit close with the poke, and then he flashed late. If he would have flashed before he could get the Twisted Advance on, that would have been good. Since he couldn't flash a Twisted Advance, he needed to wait for it to land and then flash. By letting Haunter follow through, he just sealed his own fate right there. Maokai clicked on him. He shouldn't have let him click on him, or he should have had patience once he was clicked on.
Or have Santorin or Lustboy go land a stun. Last time that happened, Lustboy dropped Tibbers on his face, and the engage was done, and they had to wait for Tibbers cooldown again. Lustboy had a stun.
Yeah, I mean,
had cast.
I feel like this one was a little bit more complex. They would have had to cast perfectly because
I absolutely agree.
The pile-on was real, and that's what the Gravity team composition is built to do. You're really seeing it now. Their champion selects have been on point in pretty much all of their victories.
Yeah, Executors love Gravity. They have built enough pile-ons in this game. They're ready to continue to dive the back line of TSM. Move still playing jungle control, going for more ability power, of course, on this Nidalee. Abyssal makes him tanky enough. Lustboy around the back near Keen. Wild Turtle. And they're going to go, of course, Keen. Only MR stack could take a lot of damage here, down to 1,000 health, but they're going to go right away. Bunny Fufu wants it. Good dodge with the Valkyrie, but that still means turret number 6 for Gravity. Baron buff is on these guys. Move can heal people. He's got the mana to do so. He didn't go for a tier build, interestingly, so his mana pool actually a bit lower, much like the Ezreal case in general combat.
But the power of Nidalee with Runeglaive, he just sits in cat form, gets a bunch of mana back.
Yeah.
Dragon coming up in 15 seconds, uncontestable for TSM.
That's number 4. Now, CLG failed to secure Dragon number 5 to win their 36-minute game over Team Impulse. Gravity seem much more controlled in this one, though.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this game is it's hard to point to a specific moment within the game that TSM was like, oh yeah, we should have done that one better. Because they did lane swapping, it was pretty much fine.
Yeah.
As far as getting caught out of position, maybe Dyrus overextended once. Santorin had a great early game gank in the bottom lane. It's just been this slow bleed where Gravity isn't giving them opportunities to come back. Gravity's littered the map with wards. They have outcomped TSM. They have built to counter TSM. TSM is also not built to stop that either. Bjergsen tried with his Void Staff, but Wild Turtle is not doing enough physical damage to cut through the magic damage tanks. Dyrus is a tank. He needs to do more damage if they're going to be MR. They need to have their physical damage dealers get the gold, therefore be able to create the damage onto Gravity. Everything has just been these small micro advantages, but it has built up into a gargantuan advantage.
Absolutely.
And it's now 4 dragons to 0, 9,000 gold, and Gravity looking to become a 9-3 team tied for first place.
That's absolutely impressive. They did not build for persistent team fight damage. They didn't need it. They just exploded the target they wanted, and there was no follow-up. Dyrus building full tank, meaning he doesn't do damage later on in a team fight either. And Bjergsen, unfortunately for him, has been caught. We'll see if... This is a question I was actually going to have for myself, was Lustboy going to build an early Mikhails? Almost every single Annie game I see, he goes Righteous Glory and Talisman. And he goes move speed Annie so he can find engages. But this feels more like a game where he needs to build Disengage, meaning Talisman, not Righteous Glory, and also Disengage, meaning maybe a Mikhails Crucible.
Yeah.
And he's not adapted to this build either.
I just don't think there's many options for TSM at this point, because even if they can disengage, what are they going to do? Poke the team that can withstand the poke easily?
It's better than dying, right?
It doesn't do anything.
I agree, though.
It doesn't do anything, because Gravity has built and team comped so well this game that I don't think TSM has realistic options.
Wow.
Right? Because, yeah, he builds a Mikhails, okay, Bjergsen gets away, and then you poke them and they heal. And then they go take Dragon. And then they take Dragon 5 and they win.
All right.
So, unless Gravity makes a big-time mistake, or Lustboy lands a miraculous engage onto Sivir before Spell Shield, and they kill Sivir and Nidalee immediately with an Ezreal ultimate, like, that's the window. So I don't think Lustboy has any other options than to build the Righteous Glory.
All right, well, we'll see if the hard engage then is enough for TSM to one-shot somebody as their way back into this game. It's a 10,000 gold deficit at 30 minutes here. Baron's on cooldown still. Comes up in about 3 minutes. Dragon, 2 minutes, close enough. Dragon's up in about 3 as well. It should be a 37-minute respawn. And we'll see if one of those is the option. Gravity can only knock down inhibitor turrets now, so sieging gonna be difficult. Of course, inhib turrets were made weaker in 5.12. They no longer slow, they no longer reduce your damage. Teams might be more likely to dive, but that still might not be the case from Gravity here.
Yeah. The death cap being completed onto the mid lane Israel. Bjergsen will have a bit of an impact. You know, it does absurd damage against squishy targets. Everyone does have magic resistance on Gravity, but now at least he will start to hurt. He's just been tickling before. This whole game, Bjergsen just been tickling at Gravity. It doesn't do much except make them angry and want to kill you.
Yeah. 1,040 damage on his ultimate. Interesting, he also maxed W second, not Arcane Shift. I'd usually been seeing Arcane Shift maxed, but that means he's got the line nuke for 600 damage as well on a short cooldown. So Bjergsen, as bursty as he can get into a team fight, if he's safe, I mean, he does 1,700 AoE damage to the front line.
Yeah, basically, Gravity, the reason this is slowed down is they're just waiting on their objective wins. They know they have the superior team fight. They know the last time they baited the team fight, they want Baron and 5th Dragon, and then they'll go. Is the most likely scenario.
All right, Baron up in 25. The number of deep wards by TSM is literally 0. The deepest ward they have is on their own red buff. There just is no vision for TSM. Gravity have strangled it. Meanwhile, Gravity light up the jungle like a Christmas tree here. The entire blue buff jungle is controlled. There's even enough in the bot jungle as well to make that safe move. Will heal himself twice over 10 seconds and not care that Ezreal hit R. As you mentioned, TSM, not a lot of options here.
Yeah. The very best they can get a turret or two while this Baron is going down. Dyrus pushing, they'd want to push the mid lane as well, but they can't really go near the mid lane because they're afraid of the Maokai. Remember, no vision control, not even close to having vision control. They're just trying to get as much farm as possible. And the Ezreal ult is down, by the way, because Move already saw it.
There you go, 35, 50 seconds. Gravity get Baron number 2. They're going to feel happy about this one. They sit on a minute till Dragon, easily under the window of Baron buff. TSM took some time when Baron was going down to ward up Dragon. TSM maybe playing for the fight for Dragon 5. That was their push in.
It is their best option at this point to try and get a nice team fight around Dragon number 5. So smart of them to go and get the wards.
And that'll be the climactic battle, I feel like. TSM, I don't think, can let Gravity get Dragon 5 plus Baron buff siege. There's 30 seconds for Gravity to do what they want. They spot a lot with this. Don't quite catch Bjergsen. But mid lane, they got their first Altec. That turret's going to go down to half HP at least. Jarvan flag down for attack speed, and Dyrus Mega Gnar, but does not have the way in.
Bad timing for Mega Gnar, especially if they're going to be playing around Dragon 5. He should have been holding off on some of that farm. And yeah, I know he wanted to shove the wave, but it's just not exactly what they needed. So no Mega Gnar as Dragon 5 spawns. Even if Gravity loses the mid lane turret for this, they're totally fine with it because it's 5th Dragon.
Well, TSM hold 2 wards in Scuttler as Dragon's up right now. Scuttler despawns. Here comes the engage. Sivir pops. Santorin gets interrupted for a few seconds. And Gravity don't find the engage. Haun's on the wrong side, but there we go. Dragon 5 picked up. The fight continues. No engage, though. Just the buffs here. And Keen is trying. Chaos tugs towards Bjergsen. Won't get the kill. Shen ult pop to keep him alive. And now they continue to chase a great explosive cast disengage move. Lands another javelin, and the taunt flash comes in for Bunny. Flash out by Darius keeps them safe. Again, no kills coming through for Gravity. But now a lot of global buffs on to keep the push going. Wild Turtle on the wings. Turret will go down cleanly and easily. And now for the first inhibitor of many.
How aggressive will they get with this 5th Dragon and the Baron? There's Darius!
Keen gets pulled in though! He's gonna get killed off. It's a 1-for-1 as Wild Turtle is caught out. Also Dyrus, a 2-for-1 now. One inhibitor already down. Inhibitor turret number 2 under fire. Gravity to push the wave in, heal back up and knock down another one. Hanser pulls aggro, could have waited a second.
Careful, buddy.
Yeah, 1,000 health.
They have so much power now, and it is still a 4v3. So 2 inhibitors down. Nice timings there by Gravity. This has just been a super clean game.
Absolutely. They've only given away 3 kills and a turret that was traded because of the level 1. Gravity doing almost everything right. No windows in for TSM, showing teams how it's done, how you deal with poke comps, how you deal with adapting your team in champ select during the game, and shot calls like this.
I mean, this was actually a pretty nice play by Dyrus. as the EQ is coming in, not even letting it connect, and also getting Keen behind him. Without that play, the game probably would have ended right there.
Yeah.
But as you can see, 5 Dragons and a Baron buff and a 12,000 gold lead are not erased by one nice Gnar ultimate on one dude. So, Gravity shall continue.
They shall, and they're sitting now with Baron buff gone, but still a minute on Dragon 5. 2 inhibs already gone. Good luck wave clearing that, TSM.
Yeah, and
Infinity
Altec
Edge.
finally with his fan advancer as well. He's been building no attack speed pretty much this whole time.
Yeah. Really caster focus to just help the dunks, just put a Q down. It was a
Now
risky
he's
build.
just a massive carry.
And you can see Altec really okay here, but Mega Gnar's in. Dyrus does have the ulti cooldown, gets rooted up by Hanser, looks for the pull in. They do catch the Maokai. Timber's not an only one, but look how durable Hanser is. Full tank tree, finds the engage. Goodbye, Wild Turtle. Altec gets his first kill of the game. Another knockback by Santorin, but oh man, turrets are falling. Gravity to drop the third inhibitor, and now to knock down the game. 5 Dragons, 2 Barons, every single turret. And that's going to be the game going, I believe, right now. They've got minions in the base. They've got the game ending. And in 40 minutes, Gravity make it a 2-0 week over CLG and TSM. And they end week 6 in first place.